Last time we derived the equation for strip footing using Terzaghis theory for ultimate bearing capacity. So it is given as C and C plus Q and Q plus zero point 0.5 gamma B and gamma. Now if the shape of the footing is different, so if it is square, circular or rectangular, then there are some modifications. So for square footing, the first term is multiplied with 1.3, and for circular footing also the first term is multiplied with 1.3, whereas the last term in case of square footing it is multiplied with 0.4, and for circular footing it is multiplied with 0.3, whereas in case of strip footing it is multiplied with 0.5. And for rectangular footing, the ultimate bearing capacity is given as 1 plus 0.3 b by l C and C plus Q and Q and plus 1 minus 0.2 b by l 0.5 gamma B and gamma. And this is the effect of shape on the ultimate bearing capacity. And if net ultimate bearing capacity is asked, then you can simply find it as Qu minus Q, that is equal to gamma df. This way net ultimate capacity can be found out. Now in the original theory, general shear failure was assumed, which happens in dense sand. Now if we say the sand or the soil is in loose condition, so depending upon that, local shear failure can happen, or if it is very loose, then punching shear can also happen. So if it is very loose, that it falls in the punching shear criteria, then the shallow foundation is not placed on such soils. So first it will be compacted if we are using a shallow foundation to increase its bearing capacity, or the deep foundation is used. But for local shear failure, for that case some modification is given. So in that case also we can use a shallow foundation. So for that some modification is given. So the shear failure plane that we assumed in this case, in general shear failure, so it is assumed to be extending up to this base of the footing. But if the local shear failure is happening, then in that case this shear failure surface does not extend up to the top, it will remain somewhere here. So this will be the shear failure surface. So in this case it means that total shear resistance or maximum shear resistance is not mobilized. So a part of C and phi is only used when we are calculating the ultimate bearing capacity for a local shear failure case. So Cm, that is mobilized cohesion, for local shear failure it is given as 2 by 3 of C, and the value of phi, we can say mobilized angle of friction, it is given as 2 by 3 tan phi. So using these new values, these parameters are found, that is Nc, Nq and gamma, and after that the bearing capacity can be obtained. This is about the failure criteria. Now if water table is also interfering, then what will be the change in ultimate bearing capacity? So now we will see the water table correction. So here I have given two zones, that is if this is the base of the footing, so let's say this zone is 1 and this zone is 2, that is above the base of the footing. So what will be the changes in ultimate bearing capacity? So if the water table is here somewhere, let's say the depth of water table, let's denote it with D. So our case 1, that is D is greater than df, which is this depth, and b. So df plus b, if it is greater than this value, then ultimate bearing capacity is simply given as C and C plus Q and Q plus 0.5 gamma b and gamma. So no change comes. And let's see the second case. If the water table comes into this zone, so this is the new depth of water table and it is at a depth of x from the base of the footing. So why we have considered this depth up to b only? Because it is found out that the failure surface, so this surface that we took in our initial case, so it is found out that it extends up to the or almost up to this depth, that is B. Because of that it is taken up to here. Now our second case, that is water table is somewhere here. So what will be the change in our ultimate bearing capacity now? So in this case, this zone defines our the third term, that is the shearing resistance from the weight of the soil which is there below the foundation. So the change whatever is coming on in the correction, it will be there in the third term. What will be the change? So C and C plus Q and Q. This second term will not change because water table is not rising above the base of the footing. So only third term will change. So third term is given as 0.5 gamma T, that is gamma T is the unit weight in this part. Let's write it here as gamma T. So gamma T into X, that is this distance, plus gamma submerged into B minus X, and this after that it is multiplied with N gamma. So this is the complete equation. So here we are replacing this gamma T into B term with this part, that is gamma T into X for this distance and gamma submerged into B minus X for this part. So that is the correction in this case. Now let's see the case third. In this case, water table is assumed to rise in this part, that is above the base of the footing. So let's say it is there at a depth y from the top. So now we can say if the D is the depth of the water table, so it is between 0 to depth of footing. Now this second term will also change. So this second term normally it is given as Q is equal to gamma dF. Now it will be given as gamma T into, if it is gamma T into Y, which is this part. Gamma T into Y is the weight in this part, plus gamma submerged into dF minus Y, which is this part. Gamma submerged into dF minus Y. So here we can write Qu as CNC plus gamma T into Y plus gamma submerged into dF minus Y, and plus in this third term, now only in all the parts submerged soil is there or submerged condition is there, so it is, this term is given as gamma submerged into B into N gamma. So this is the correction if the water table rises above the base of the footing. Now if we are talking about a completely cohesive soil, then it is given as ultimate bearing capacity is Cu and C. In this case, Cu is calculated in undrained conditions because this value of cohesion will be reduced due to the rise in water table, so it is calculated in undrained condition and it can be found out the ultimate bearing capacity. So this criteria is used to find out the ultimate bearing capacity just after completion of construction. So this is for cohesive soil. Now let's say if the soil is completely cohesionless and water table rises up to the surface, so what will be the bearing capacity equation? It will be gamma submerged into dF plus 0.5 gamma submerged into B and gamma. Now we know that gamma submerged is almost equal to gamma T upon 2, that is bulk unit weight. So Qu if we write, so it is gamma T upon 2 dF plus 0.5 gamma T upon 2 V and gamma. So here we can say that, or we can see that the bearing capacity is reduced to half. So if without water table, what will be the bearing capacity? This by 2 will not be there. So this is the bearing capacity when water is not influencing. And if water is coming up to the top, then both the terms are divided by 2. So the bearing capacity is reduced to half. That is the effect of water table. So there is one more way using which this water table can be accounted. So in that case, two factors are given. So ultimate bearing capacity is given as CNC plus QNQ into RW plus half B half gamma B and gamma into RW dash. Now what are these RW and RW dash? So if it is the footing, and again the same terms, let's say water table is here, so this depth is taken as dw, and water table if it is here, this is b, this is df, let's say this depth is dw dash if water table is here, and if it is here then it is dw. So this rw, that is the correction in second term, it is given as 0.51 plus dw upon df, and when it is applicable when 0 to dw upon b, it is less than equal to 1. So it is applicable in this zone, and similarly rw dash is given as 0.5 1 plus dw upon b. So it is applicable when 0 to dw upon b is less than 1. So similarly, if water table is in this zone, then rw dash is found out using this equation, and rw is equal to 1, and if it is here then it can be, both the equation can be used. So it will be rw dash is simply equal to 0.5 if the water table is in this zone, and rw we can find from here. So using these correction factors also we can find out the ultimate bearing capacity with water table correction. So this is it for this video. We'll see other theories and the ultimate bearing capacity using those theories in the next one.